This is DJ Fish for Fish to Go Movie Reviews, see? And guys, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
That's the picture.
And now I have hat hair. Welcome to day 22 of my 100 Days, 100 Movies challenge, which means we've officially made it into 3 weeks worth of a challenge. Now, I would call that impressive. Some of you might think I'm just lazy and need to get a job, and you'd be only half correct. But let's just leave that at the side for now and get into some real mystery and gangster pictures. I think I'd make a pretty lousy gangster. Of course, the style most associated with these kind of movies is noir. Today's movie is a neo-noir, which is basically another way of saying the revitalization of noir in the late 20th century and so forth and so on. It really has nothing to do with The Matrix. This is again one of those movies that everybody else has seen, but I haven't. This is Bryan Singer's 1995 film, The Usual Suspects. Of course, the title may sound familiar because it comes from one of the most famous lines read in the history of cinema from the film Casablanca.
Round up the usual suspects.
That was quick. And if you haven't seen that movie, then I would suggest to you to get on board. Michael, you gonna roll the trailer?
I think I'm gonna play as time goes by.
No, that's not the movie. It's the Usual Suspects movie.
Well, I'll play it later, but you promised me I'm gonna play it.
That's better.
Who knows what can happen?
I figure we owe it to ourselves to salvage a little dignity. Me and Fenster heard about a little job.
My employer requires your services, gentlemen. One job, 1 day's work. Very dangerous.
Close quarters, 10, maybe 20 men. Anybody goes in there is not coming out alive.
Is there a problem?
I want to know why. 27 men died on that pier. For what looks to be $91 million worth of dope that wasn't there.
Since his life's in danger, he saw the devil.
Kaiser Soze!
Did he mention Kaiser Soze? Who? Who's Kaiser Soze?
Press 20. Do it now.
There is no Kaiser Soze.
You never knew. That was his power.
He was in the harbor, killing many men.
You mention his name again, I'll kill you right now.
How do you shoot the devil in the back?
A gift from Mr. Soze.
What the fuck?
The Usual Suspects pays close attention to the events that one, Verbal, is describing to an investigator. In regards to what his involvement was with the mysterious and unidentified criminal mastermind, Kaiser Soze. Verbal tells that he was with 4 other criminal associates that he met in a police lineup who go out on robbing sprees. And at the same time, the investigator isn't believing any of it. And it is really up to the viewer to decide whether or not any of the events that Verbal is describing are true. The Usual Suspects is a film that sometimes plays way too clever for its own good, but it still packs a wallop. It's a very dialogue-heavy film, even with scenes of violence and action. Though cinematographer Newton Sigel provocatively makes these dialogue scenes interesting by dollying up for a close-up, or just moving the frame all the time to keep things in motion. It keeps the viewer always interested in what's happening, as if the dialogue is the action itself. And even in those scenes of violence, do we get some pretty well-choreographed set pieces. Though what the dialogue actually has to say is another thing. There are moments in the film where I found myself completely overwhelmed by the amount of information that was being thrown at me by the characters, and arranged so meticulously by editor John Ottman that I was, at times, confused or boggled. Luckily, Bryan Singer directs this thing with good marks and does a pretty fair job of never letting Christopher McQuarrie's screenplay go too out of control or over the top. Though the real deal here is Kevin Spacey's portrayal of Verbal. He went on to win the Academy Award for this performance, and I could not have agreed more. Like his other stirring performances in David Fincher's Seven, or even Sam Mendes' American Beauty, he fully envelops himself into this character's psyche. Spacey is practically magnetic and menacing at the same time, not merely acting maniacal, but actually being maniacal. Actors Gabrielle Byrne and Pete Postlethwaite also do a really good job here. The Usual Suspects brings together some great elements of the film noir genre, and it revels in it, even if it is a little too much and a little too predictable by the end. But it's hard to deny Kevin Spacey's performance, which is the reason worth watching this alone. I'm going to go ahead with a B+ on this one. And if you have seen The Usual Suspects, like I suspect you do, what did you guys think about it? Love it? Hate it? And why? Leave one of those comments down below, and if you like any of my reviews or would just like to continue on my 100 Days, 100 Movies challenge, then you can subscribe up above. We still got a ways to go with 78 more films, so keep those suggestions and recommendations coming, guys. And don't forget one of these guys.
Because I'll come after you.
And once again, I'm DJ Fish for Fish to Go Movie Reviews. Movie reviews on the go.
That's the picture.